the level of care is better with government, why don't they make it so government can stay in the business?
And I feel that that's what this place is. It's closer home for me because I'm now 91 and I've had a long, good life, a lot of hard work, but I think it's really paid off when I see how well my children have done. This is a good home for me. I really wouldn't find the help that I have here anywhere else. The children have checked out some of the other homes. They are nothing like this. I just thank God every day for what I have here and for the workers that are here.
Today was the first step in a process to recommend to the entire Steuben County Legislature the contract for services for the facility that would essentially it's dietary, maintenance, and housekeeping. Those three services be contracted. And so consequently, this committee's recommended it to another committee who ultimately may recommend it to the Steuben County Legislature as a whole. So it's the first step. It's not the final action.
I'm sorry to hear that. I think the way things have been, it's been working well for the people. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not one that likes a lot of changes.
We don't know down the road. I never thought at my age I was going to be in a nursing home. But here I am.
For the hard workers that they have here, it's going to hurt.
It scares me. Moving. I mean, but I had to do it before, but coming, losing my home health aides that I had at home, I had to come here after I lost all that.
From the kitchen help to the girls that take care of the patients, to the main workers, we're head nurses and so forth, everyone works very hard here. And it shows in the way the place is run.
You want to think, well, I'll pick myself up, I'll brush myself off, but how many times can you do that?
Everybody has put their heart and soul into this place. And to change it, I'm afraid it would cause a lot of heartache.
I just can't believe that they're trying to throw our elderly out the door, where they've already paid taxes all through their years. They've had jobs that they've held down all through their years to keep themselves above the welfare line and stuff, and now they're kind of just being shoved out the door one more time. They've lost everything that they've already owned to be in the facility that they're at now.
In our facility, if we privatized nursing care, it would not be as good as it is today. That's just my opinion. I've been in private care facilities, and I feel that our people give these people the greatest service in the world, and I'd hate to see it deteriorate.
The other place I was at, I was lucky I come out of there alive.
It took us over a 10-year period to get ready to build this nursing home. We built it. We got the people in Steuben County to think that was a great idea to do. We put windows in every room, and I mean, we just did everything we could. We met with many companies on what would make the patients feel like they're at home. We met with them to what would be easiest for the patients. They have all kinds of automatic things to help take care of the patients. New kitchens and everything. And the state says, yes, we'll change that reimbursement, we'll update it, and we'll help you to fund it. Yeah, well, now you see where we are at.
When you look at the resources that you have, your best resource is your staff. And if you don't recognize that, if you choose to look at the dollar amount and not look at what you get for your bang for your buck, you're going to find a problem. When individuals are not valued, when individuals are not gainfully employed, when individuals do not feel vested because they are temporary or their agency help, they're not vested into the care of the facility. It's just a job. When you look at the majority of those employees, and I know those employees, those people take their jobs very seriously.
One of the best county-operated facilities in Western New York.
I hope our legislators I hope the taxpayers understand and realize the effect that this is going to have. It's going to be a downward cascade. I think that what we need to do as taxpayers is make sure that people know what a gem we have here in Steuben County for a facility, and we need to do everything that we can to help those employees keep their jobs.
They decided to outsource the 3 departments, dietary, maintenance, and housekeeping, to an outside vendor.
I love my job. I worked there 6.5 years. 5 of it was part-time. I finally got on full-time. It's a very hard job, but I put my all in.
I'm kind of mixed feelings, I guess. I don't know what to expect on the other side, and I have a family to support. So I'd really love to keep where I work because I love it, and they love me. I think it's going to be hard for me to leave.
And a lot of us are worried about what's going to happen. I have a home. I don't know how I'll be able to keep it. I have a mortgage. I have to pay taxes. I have a car payment. And I'm just trying to figure out what kind of things are going to happen to myself.
I never thought they would elect to decrease the services we provide based on money that they think they're going to save.
Privatization does not save money. In the long run, the costs are higher. We can tell you that from well across the state with CSEA. We've gone through this before. We know what the effects are. We know that it doesn't save money.
I'll probably either have to take a big cut in pay or give it up.
Our facility is going to go right downhill if we bring in people who aren't making barely over minimum wage. I mean, I'm not going to say that people are there for the money because I don't believe that, but it does, I think overall you're a happier person and when you have some decent wages and benefits, and you see that. I mean, our people take pride in what they do, from the kitchen staff to the nursing staff. They care about the residents, they care about the building, they care about everyone in there, and you can see it in their work.
Instead of just putting the whole thing up for sale, we're doing little things at a time that we reverse. There a contract for a year or something of this nature, 2 years, that can be reversed, and we can go back to a fully county-run operation again.
They want us to stay and do the job, but you're not worth that much money. And we are. We work very hard every day to provide quality services to those residents.
The plan is to privatize the facility at some point, to sell it. So I think that can be done within 1.5 to 2 years anyway. So I didn't feel that, why do we need to disrupt the employees that we have there now for that short a time?
If they hire new people, I don't think that they will have the caring. It's a job, and they're going to take it as it's a job. They're not going to put it as a career. They're only there until they can find something better.
A good percentage of the people, if they want to work for this other company, will have jobs there to work for the people and for the new company.
I make around $14 an hour, so I'd be looking at about $9 or $10 an hour. So, and I really can't afford that with 2 children, and you know, my husband works, but we can't afford that.
Privatized institution I can tell you the folks there are not going to get the same care that they're getting today. All right? When you're working for the buck, they're going to cut so they make their profit.
So you're going to raise taxes?
No, I'm not for raising taxes.
It's hard enough to be disabled and to be depending on strangers when you're so used to the people and the facility as it's run now. I think it'd be a shame to outsource, and I think it'd be an even greater shame to sell.
They are jumping right on the immediate savings and not worrying about the long-term expenses that are going to be incurred by the county.
They've gone through this over to jail. They did away with their kitchen and outsourced it. Now they've gone back.
I do feel that they betrayed our trust because we put trust in them to help us make this the best nursing home in the county, and we've done our part, and now they need to back us.
And there is some great information.
I need some clarity, I guess, because I'm still new at all this. First I remember a $1 million loss, then I heard a $2 million loss, so now I'm hearing a $3 million loss. So I'm a little confused. Is it because of what you were just explaining, Mark, that based on the payments that we're getting? Because I didn't know where we stood. Are we really at $3 million, or are we at $1 million?
That's why I was trying to explain that when that's why the numbers vary, and that's why I was trying to make it clear that when you see this audit for the fiscal year for last year, it's not going to look like $3 million, but that's because there's a double IGT payment in it.
And those are doing.
Yeah, well, we're not sure how long they'll last. They're a special authorization by the state and with concurrence from the federal government to allow for the municipal homes to get an additional payment of federal funds. Absent the IGT, you'd be losing that much more. The privates and the nonprofits don't receive that payment.
All figures can be skewed, absolutely. There's a way to present financial information to make it look how you want it to look.
It's purely financial. I mean, we just can't, we can't subsidize it for the $3 million that's needed to make it, to keep it whole out there.
In late 2011, the county home deficit was reportedly $1.9 million. In March 2012, the deficit had dropped by $1 million.
Having worked in accounting and my college education in courses in statistics, there is absolutely always a way to make the figures look how you want them to look. You can, if you're for something, you can make information look positive, or you can make it look negative just by the way that it's presented.
Who let them down? Well, the state let them down. 6 ways past Sunday, and the feds, and we're just stuck with what the government is telling us at the time.
The new healthcare facility was built with a plan that the county would, their costs would be rebased. The old facility was operating under a cost basis of 1984. They haven't rebased that cost since. And they were, after a year in the new facility, it was supposed to be rebased, and the state has not done that. Unless the state changes the way they reimburse you.
There's no doubt that the long-term care situation in this country and in this state is in jeopardy. And unless something is done dramatically different, the state is going to have to step up and re-examine their commitment to the elderly. They're going to have to reaffirm that publicly operated homes have a value. They are a safety net. They're needed. They didn't come into existence because someone wanted that to happen. They came into existence because the services and the care was not provided by other homes. That situation hasn't changed that much today. When I hear local legislators or local politicians say, we can't do anything because our hands are tied by the state, well, you have state representatives in your area. Have you talked to them? You have a connection with them through the governor or whatever. What are you doing on a state level to make sure that there's adequate funding?
You're going to have 44 to 125 of employees that could possibly be looking at not having a job. The county will have to pay out unemployment insurance benefits for them. There will also be vacation leave days that they will have to pay out for if people have accumulated time.
Why isn't that a priority for the state then, to have county be able to stay in the business? You know, to me, that should be a priority of the state. If the level of care is better with government, why don't they make it so government can stay in the business? We're just getting forced out of the business, and all counties are. And we're going to be dismantling county government basically all over the place anyway, I mean, in the next few years. Public health, we've already contracted out most of that. We're looking at contracting out mental health. So, I mean, county government's not going to be what it was.
I don't know why you would build such a beautiful facility, move the residents over there, set up such a facility, broadcast it to the community, basically put all the residents in and then just turn around and sell it.
If you had a loved one here, how would you want them treated? How would you want things to be for them? Say it was your mother or your grandmother that was here, or God forbid yourself, because you never know when something's going to happen.
I expect my government to stand behind me 100%. And by taking this away, they're not. They're throwing me to the dogs.
You walk in to these other nursing homes, you don't, number one, I don't see the interaction between the residents and the staff. I don't see the clean environment. To be blunt, you walk in the door and you smell urine.
We're a 105-bed facility, depending on the occupancy, but percentage-wise of the residents that are there, you're really looking at 85 to 90% are Medicaid residents. The majority of our residents come to us as Steuben County residents who have lived here their entire life. They have been viable citizens. They've worked. They've been your bankers. They've been your doctor. They've been your school teacher. They're your next door neighbor's grandmother. They're your parent, your father, your mother. And they've worked their entire lives, their 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they've paid their taxes for this. If we weren't there, they would not have a place to go. Those residents are going to be left to fend for themselves and find the best, maybe a home that doesn't have a high occupancy. But what does it say if it doesn't have a high occupancy? That tells me that the quality of care in that home is not standard or is below standard. And those are the types of homes that those people are going to be left to go to. There's an obligation on the part of this county and an obligation on society itself.
The elderly cannot speak for themselves. Some of them can out there, and they are, but a lot of them are in a situation where they might not even be able to know where they are, or they're physically unable to speak for themselves. Somebody has to speak for them. Yes, we're speaking on behalf of the employees also, but we're speaking on behalf of the elderly who cannot speak for themselves.
We are one big family, and it is personal for me because I look at the residents and all of my coworkers as part of my family, and I don't want to lose that.
Our residents are scared to death what's going to happen to them, and it's already impacting them.
The willingness of counties to give away their jewel operations, the things that the county taxpayers look at with pride and admiration, the willingness to give that away without necessarily getting a market value or getting something back for the taxpayers, that amazes me. I really think that's just a situation where we don't care if we have to lose $15 million in prior taxpayer money. We're going to take the opportunity to do this now, get out of the business now, and that's just not what I think the people elected them for.
We have an onus, we have an obligation, we have a duty to our elders because they provided us with the opportunities that we have today. Sometimes we have a tendency to look at the almighty dollar. And sometimes it's not just about the dollars. It's about what we do well. It's about what we do good. And I must tell you, the Steuben County Healthcare Facility does well, and they do good by our residents.
I don't believe in these private endeavors coming in and buying out these places. We feel that we own it too. We've put our taxes and our heart into these places. It's heartbreaking.
A 2012 congressional audit of the Federal Reserve revealed that the Fed secretly issued $16.1 trillion, that's trillion dollars, to some 20 international banks from December 2007 to July 2010. None of these unaccounted for trillions of dollars doled out over the past 3 years by the U.S. Federal Reserve went to cities or states, let alone counties, to enable them to stay solvent, to protect the commons, the people, their well-being, and their public institutions. No, the money went to bankers. Here's a partial list. Citigroup, $2.5 trillion, Morgan Stanley, $2 trillion, Merrill Lynch, $1.9 trillion, Bank of America, $1.3 trillion, Barclays, $868 million, Bear Stearns, $853 billion, Goldman Sachs, $814 billion. Those with access to this money use it to buy up real assets. Some of those assets are of hard-pressed counties, for example, which are then swindled into quickly selling off their heritage, leaving their citizenry to fend for themselves in the free market where profit motive trumps commit to caring.